It's very sticky.
Yeah.
And we're going like, oh, we're our life.
Hello, everybody.
It's hello from moi.
All right, so with that now. All right, so welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. Today is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. I hope everybody's, so we've reached hump day, as everybody likes to call it. Wednesday, the middle of the week, that day of the week that we get over the hump. So I have, of course, Rick on with me, right? Rick Piper from Cross Comics at the moment. And of course, before we get into talking about what's on tap for tonight, I'm gonna hand it over to Rick for him to introduce himself and see if he wants to do an intro. I think you know the shtick right there, Rick.
Yeah. Although you sort of introduced me by saying, yeah, I'm going to hand it over to Rick, but, for those that don't know, yes, I am Rick, and I am from Cross Comics. That is my comic book company, and I have a YouTube channel named after the same thing. I do some drawings, paintings. I have some chill streams where I just talk with friends or whatever about whatever. That is linked to my latest video where I'm painting a Spider-Man thing, Spider-Man's chest, basically. So go watch that, hit the like, share it, and if you haven't, subscribe to my channel if you like what you see and all that wonderful stuff. And something I'm going to show Mike right now, a little bit more. I started getting into a little bit of doing his one character guy. I'm not sure how to pronounce it or how to spell it, so it's not finished, but.
Oh, you're talking about what you've done for
Yeah.
yeah.
Blue kimono.
Okay.
I still
Hold
need to
on.
draw her legs and
Let
hands.
me highlight that. I am still trying to send you stuff to. Yeah. Let me, and maybe I'll do it after the show tonight. Let me grab the stuff, and I'll send you like, because I basically have an idea at least for the girls. So
Yeah.
so let me at least
Yeah.
do that, and then you can get started on it. I appreciate that you were eager to do it and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
kind of a vision for it. So
Yeah. I get that.
so so with that, well, thank you, Rick. Anything more you'd like to add?
Not that I can think of it this time, anyways.
All right. So with that, and I guess I should get that stuff to you soon because you're really eager to get to it. So,
Yeah. Well,
all right.
sometimes when I don't have some time, like when I have some time, it's just I'm just
right.
okay. Let's
Well,
draw.
I should probably go ahead and get you more of the information too, just so.
Yeah.
But with that,
Let's get into some articles,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. So
And what we got on tap for tonight?
hail Xenu and Xena. Okay. All right.
Hey,
Well,
Elk.
hey Elk, welcome back. Haven't seen you the last couple of days. Hope you're having a good week. With that, let's go ahead and talk about what's on tap for tonight. So tonight, got a couple articles from Bounding into Comics that we're going to do. One is talking about the One Piece anime is apparently censoring Eiichiro Oda's original design for Stutzi's Vegapunk outfit. And then we also have an editor from the manga Vinland Saga talking about how manga should not pander to Western audiences. So we'll get it. What was that, Rick?
I was just gonna say I've actually heard of Vinland Saga. I haven't watched it or don't know anything about it, but I've heard of it. And of course, Elk is saying "Hail to you and me."
Yep.
Me and you and me. Ba 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 ba.
Right. As always, guys, if you can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people on. That'd be appreciated. Friendly people to engage be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, with that, let's go ahead and get into the articles here. Then let me pull those up. All right. So the first article we're going to look at here is the One Piece article here. Um,
Oh, I've actually heard of One Piece as well. I haven't watched it or anything.
Well, most
Actually,
people have. One Piece is probably one of the most popular manga anime out there. So,
although I'm trying to think of at least one character from it. Monkey D. Luffy or Luffy D. Monkey or something like that.
it's pronounced Luffy. Monkey D.
Luffy.
Luffy. Yeah, Straw himself. All right. So, One Piece anime censors Eiichiro Oda's original design for Stutzi's Vegapunk outfit. Article by Spencer McCauley, published June 10th, which is, of course, this past Monday. And Stutzi's the girl on the left, and that's Sanji on the right there with the hard eyes, indicating how he's like
really liking her.
Yeah. Let's see. So,
who's got no audio? I think that's your end. Good night, Spoon. Elk says Vinland Saga has a beautiful animation, which much anime doesn't really. Oh, just kidding. My headphones are broken. Oh, okay. He's teasing us, trying to troll us.
All right. So with that, then let's continue on with the article. According to One Piece anime production studio Toei, series creator Eiichiro Oda's original skin-heavy design for Stutzi's Vegapunk research outfit is quote-unquote too hot for TV. So this isn't even coming from the West as much as it sounds like it's coming maybe even from the Japanese studios.
Which is really weird.
Yeah. Tall, gorgeous, and possessing the vampiric abilities to grow bat wings and suck an enemy's life force via a bite wound, Stutzi is originally introduced in the manga's 860th chapter and the anime's 828th episode as a ranking member of the antagonistic world government's lead intelligence agency CPO. Yeah, and I know she was somewhat in attendance for during the whole Cake Island arc. I just watched that arc a couple months back.
Well,
so anyway,
I get that. Just responding to Goodnight Spoon, I get that you're probably serious for your headphones being broken, and that you only hear every third word, but the no audio is like more the thing that you were trolling us about. I believe is more what I meant, or it's no audio for you, anyways. But saying no audio, you made it seem like we had no audio coming through.
Yeah. So, anyways, as part of her duties, Stutzi is ordered alongside the rest of her unit to hunt down and eliminate Vegapunk, a world-famous scientific researcher whose status quo upending work threatens to upend the current world order. However, shortly after landing on Vegapunk's home turf, the unit finds itself coming into conflict with the Straw Hat Pirates, the latter team's adventures having currently led them to be on the side of the scientist himself. But as the two sides ready themselves for another round of one-on-one fights, the battlefield is soon upturned by none other than Stussy, who, after turning on her teammates, reveals that not only has she been a double agent for Vegapunk all along, da 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 da, but that she is also currently under his orders to rescue him from CPO's clutches.
Elk saying the other two words that Goodnight Spoon aren't hearing out of every three words are just profanity. And then Goodnight Spoon says, "I thought this was a Christian stream." No, Mike's never claimed that. And then he tells me, Goodnight Spoon tells me to watch my language. What language? Does my language do tricks? Can we see it jump over the moon? My language? How do I watch language?
Yeah. Well, I think we know what the meaning of that phrase means. Well, Goodnight Spoon. This isn't exactly a Christian stream, but I mean, if you've heard me before talk about the idea of I prefer people not swear simply because it shows more of a sign of ignorance. From my point of view, with as much of a vocabulary as any of us can have, usually the people who rely heavily on profanity, like where it's like every other word or 2 out of every 3 words is a swear word to get their point across, tends to show their lack of intellect in my opinion. You can see, as always, granted, I know it's considered way old-fashioned to speak very properly and all that, but not that I'm gonna. I usually would ask people to respect that, but I'm not going to go all SJW on you over it either. So.
Goodnight Spoon agrees with you.
Yeah. So, anyways, it can actually be refreshing when you find a stream where they're not swearing all the time and not like focusing on all the negative stuff of the world and all that. That can be quite a refreshing thing, and that's what I hope. That's what I always hope to do. So anyways, her cover blown following CPO's eventual defeat at her and the Straw Hat's hands, Stussy proceeds to team up with the pirate crew in order to complete her mission. But before doing so, she and Straw Hat crew members Zoro and Brooke move to follow in their friends' fashion footsteps by donning one of Vegapunk's light-fitting and hyper-mobile research outfits. As seen in the manga's 1074th chapter. Wow, that many chapters. Can you believe that?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, how big is a chapter, first of all?
Yeah. But anyways, this outfit originally saw Stussy wearing a small leg and side cleavage, exposing leotard. And I don't know if you guys can have that in your mind there. It's something like probably like this portion, or something like that. But black leather jacket and a pair of Vegapunk's signature jet boots and a pair of pouches that even Rob Liefeld could appreciate.
Yeah. Goodnight Spoon says, but we are scientifically wrong. Supposedly there was a study done that shows people who regularly or overtly use profanity have a larger vocabulary and increased intelligence. I should stop citing that study until I actually read it myself. So, in any of those pictures that you went past, does it show her in this
or overtly used profanity have a larger vocabulary and well, the larger vocabulary, if you're counting profanity, yeah, but I wouldn't say increased intelligence. Again, it again shows a lack of proper speaking. But anyway, I should stop citing that study until I actually read it myself. Perhaps
Absolutely correct.
that's why I'm not invited to comment on Rick's anime if Rick's anime if I'd profane it too much.
Okay, I'm not sure which I only have one technical anime or manga according to
Um,
Google AI.
according to Google AI, and then some studies suggest that people who use profanity may be smarter than others. For example, a 2015 study published in Language Sciences found that people who can name the most swear words in a minute. Yeah, I don't really think though that's a real accomplishment though. I mean, um, you know, but well, one of the things that Metal had pointed out before in one of our previous talks is there was also some studies done that they feel that people who tend to use profanity more tend to be more honest, tend to be considered more honest and trustworthy. But then it goes on to state that they have higher IQ.
Okay.
So that's probably
Okay.
more wishful thinking, but
Yeah. Well, let's try and get back to the article at this point.
yeah. Unfortunately, this fan favorite alternate costume did not survive its translation to the small screen. In the anime's 1,106th episode, rather than the above risque outfit, Stussy instead wears a variant which both expands her leotard to cover her entire chest, and gives her a brand new pair of white skin tight leggings. So that's probably what they're talking about right there. You see,
Well,
that's
that's
Stussy
the
on the
new
far
that's
left
the
there.
new one. But if you go up to the drawing there, probably I think it has her in. Okay, there. Although technically with that one, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, because it's in black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, further, rather than being a solitary animation error, Toei has continued to use the censored version of Stutzy's outfit up through the anime's 1008 and the most recent as of writing episode, Incomprehensible, The Seraphim's Rebellion. So I guess they're talking about the episodes that are still running in Japan, because what I
Yeah.
understand, the dubbed episodes are still in the thousands, still in the 1,000. They haven't got up to the 1100s yet. But curiously, though Stutzy is covered up, the research outfits worn by Nami, Nico Robin, and Vegapunk assistant York are all left untouched. So
Yeah, you see the skin there, but with the if you go up to compare her stuffy with the original, like you look at there, right, and then you look at this one here. She could have pants on or not in that. You don't really know. The belt comes across a spot where it could easily transition from one to the other.
yeah, I mean, you particularly look at you look at Nami in the center and York the right there. It's an obvious crotch shot basically.
Yeah,
Um, as of writing, neither Toei, Oda, nor One Piece manga publisher Shueisha have offered public comment on the anime's decision to censor Stussy.
I'm not sure whether it's a decision to censor her. Based on the look of the costume, they're probably just thinking it was white. They said something about leopard, and there didn't seem to be any leopard print on the.
No, it wasn't leopard. It was leotard.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So leotard. So it would be hard to tell what color that leotard is, or if there's a leotard, there or not. Could be skin. It's I guess it's a time choice, unless you ask, the guy that's created it what he's intended. You wouldn't know for sure. Could be correlation, not causation. Those able to name more geographic words than any other could probably have higher IQs too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing this to be as well. Go ahead.
Okay, well, people are supposedly more intelligent, more honest, and have a higher pain tolerance. That's basically what the intelligent one says. Elk, smarter people know and use more swear words, but people who swear are not necessarily smart as a result. Yeah. Ooh, here's an interesting study about the health repercussions of swearing. Cursing may feel good in the moment, but it has a self-destructive side. Swearing at others in an argument can be irreversibly harmful. Too much cursing at yourself can create negative anti-talk. Yeah, which does make a certain amount of sense, because and plus, all that swearing, and of course, coming with that swearing, you get more agitated, more upset. That's going to raise your stress level, raise your blood pressure.
Negative self-talk contribute to negative self-image, leading to social isolation and depression.
Mm-hmm.
That actually sort of describes somebody I know in my life.
Yeah. All right. So with that, let's get ready to do the other article here we're going to focus on tonight. 22 minutes are not too bad. Taking into account here. Let's see. Vinland Saga editor says manga should not pander to Western audiences. I don't quote. I don't allow myself to be influenced by so-called political correctness abroad. Unquote. Article by Spencer Cooley, published yesterday, June 11, 2024. So let's take a look at this. So, in the opinion of current editor-in-chief of Kodansha's weekly afternoon manga magazine, Akira Kanai, the opinions and socio-political views of Western audiences should have absolutely no bearing on the creative decisions of Japanese manga. Joining Kodansha in 1994, so that was 30 years ago, Kanai served as an editor across a number of the publisher's various manga magazines until eventually being promoted to his current position as WEA 2015, during which time he oversaw a number of notable manga works, including Gamon Sakurai's Ajin, Demi-Human, Bin Kusamizu and Saburo Megumi's Fragile, and Makoto Yukimura's Vinland Saga. Rick, it sounded like you were about to say something.
Well, no. The only thing that I was going to say is we got a few more comments. Good night, Spoon saying I'm glad I learned something here today. I'm a super smart. And Alex says, it's a good one. It's a good one. Us is smart, Spoonie. But on a more serious note, that aligns with studies that the most intelligent people are the most miserable people.
Yeah, I mean,
Who knows?
yeah.
And if intelligence makes you miserable, maybe it's not a good thing to be intelligent.
I don't
Or
know.
too
I would consider myself pretty intelligent. I'd also consider myself, not needing to swear all the time to get my point across. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think, but what I mean is more, intelligent compared to a doctor or something like that. Oh,
Yeah.
technically, depends on how you define smart or intelligence, too. I think.
Um, and it was in his position as a manga industry veteran that Kanai offered his opinion on the topic of the West's ever growing attempts to force their cultural standards upon Eastern media during a recent career retrospective interview given to German manga news outlet Manga Passion.
And I have to say, it's not the West ever growing. It's certain factions in the West.
Right. Ask, quote, to what extent do you already think about the potential, in parentheses, your potential international success of manga, parentheses, and whether he tries to work with mangakas to, quote, perhaps try to make, in brackets, their works more accessible to audiences outside Japan, unquote. The editor confidently asserted, no, not really, quote unquote.
Cool.
Quote, for example, well, here's the thing, too, on that. Here's the thing on that. For those who enjoy anime and manga outside of Japan, this is something that many commentators have commented on this point. The reason a lot of us who do like anime and manga like it is because of how it is. Not how we don't many of us don't care for some of these oh, we're going to insert our own socio-political point of view, or we're going to use this anime to browbeat you into submission, into thinking the same way
Yeah.
we did. Um, people like, I like, now granted, even with Yu Yu Hakusho, I have the uncensored version, right? They do use a word in there that I don't care for, but aside from that, I like the series overall. I watch the dub,
Yeah.
and I watch them. I watch them because for the most part, when presented correctly, when presented as the mangaka originally intended for them to be presented, I truly enjoy the way they present them. I don't enjoy, and you can even see it from when from how I wrote my story there, right? Because I got a lot of heavy influence, particularly with the manga, and even Metal commented on that, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, getting back to the article here, quote, for example, there are various codes against the depiction of violence, against the depiction of nudity, whether male or female, or religious codes that I follow, unquote, he explained. Quote, however, I think that there are no fundamental differences in the population in terms of what they perceive as important, be it in Japan, Germany, China, or South Korea. Even if it is the case on a political level.
Yeah. Good. Night Spoon says people say I'm intelligent and I have the misery to match. He says fractions into West, so not fractions, factions. Like SJW, people like that are trying to change. Manga. Japanese trying to change how Japanese people do their comics. People from the West, SJWs from the West, are trying to change how people in Japan do their mangas. Resist your inner otaku Otuko Spooner.
Otaku. That's how it's pronounced. Resist your inner otaku. Maybe if I swear enough, I can unlock the portion of my brain that has the X gene that will allow me to levitate my charger to me.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
boy.
because I missed his one comment. I'm 8 feet away from my charger, and I don't want to get up. My
Hmm.
battery's at 6%. Well, either then you're gonna have to get up and stick it in to charge, or you're gonna lose your signal and not be able to watch, and that will be a detriment to us and
Mhm.
you.
Yeah. So, anyway, continuing, Kanai then declared, quote, I don't allow myself to be influenced by so-called political correctness abroad and design the work accordingly. I think that if it's interesting, it will usually be understood regardless of whether you come from Africa, Chile, and Greenland, unquote, which I think everybody here at least would agree with that sentiment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do have one question, although it's we probably won't have an answer. He doesn't allow himself to be influenced by so-called political correctness abroad. But what about political correctness in his own country?
Well, I mean, I don't know. There is as much the quote unquote political correctness in his own country, as it were. I mean,
Yeah, well,
obviously,
uh,
I mean, I think he still may maintain certain cultural norms, you know.
yeah,
Um, and I
yeah,
think that
well,
a lot of but again, a lot of these manga artists are going to reflect their own culture. They're not writing, they're writing from their own experience. They're writing about their own culture. So not the West interpretation or what the West feels is a proper interpretation of their culture. You know, they're
yeah,
writing their own experiences of their own culture.
yeah.
You know,
Well, and political
if
correctness
people
over
have
there.
an issue with it, that's their issue. That's not his issue.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Well, but more what I meant by that statement was what's politically correct over there to do would be different than politically correct over here to do.
yeah, 3%. It's
It's
not
not working.
working. Yeah, go full otaku. Use the last 6% to DoorDash Doritos and fall asleep eating. 1%. All right. So, anyways, we continue on here.
So, see you, good night, man.
Yeah, I guess Guess he's gonna go now.
And well, if he's at 1%, actually, ironically, Vinland Saga is writing about Western culture.
Hmm. Yeah. So in that particular case, then he's probably more. He is writing about his own interpretation. But anyway, quote: I've never made a big deal of it so far. Unquote. Said the editor. Quote: But even if a work takes up a very Japanese theme, for example, or a German work, a German theme, a Chinese work, a Chinese theme. In the end, the root is the same, I think, unquote. And there have been a number of manga and anime out there that have, taken elements from other cultures. You have a lot of sword and sorcery stuff, or otherworldly adventure stuff like Record of Lotus War, The Legend of Mimiko, Legend of Himiko. Um, let's see. There's also trying to think. Oh, Le Chevalier d'Eon. Another one where Japanese decided to do their own kind of twist on West culture. In that particular case, the French. But anyways,
Well, Goodnight Spoon thinks he and Peanuts have something in common because they've both been assaulted. because Goodnight Spoon says, "Call the police. My coffee table assaulted my kneecap," and then he said 2%. Kamiko from the boys? I don't think so.
No, I actually meant to say Himiko, Legend of Himiko, which is an anime about basically a girl who was born in another world was kind of sent off to our world to grow up because her world was somewhat in danger, and then she comes back and helps to save her world from an evil darkness. So that's
Geez,
kind of
I've heard that seems like almost a play on something, and I've seen it somewhere where they did a play on Superman using something similar. So that's interesting.
isekai. Yeah, it would probably be considered an isekai, most likely, and that's been a more popular one in recent years too. Isekais. Quote, stopping a work because it deals with a problem that's too Japanese or specifying to do something, that hardly ever happens, unquote, Kanai continued. Quote, more specifically, I wonder if there is a difference in Japanese entertainment content between works that are internationally successful. Is it the works that focus more on the Japanese market or the global market? Further expanding his argument, he opined, quote, I don't think it's possible to create works that are exactly in the middle, nor would such works really appeal anywhere. Let's see. Quote, take ship and take Skip and Loafer, for example, bracket another series serialized under his watch in weekly afternoon, which is about a girl who comes from the Japanese countryside and moves to the Japanese city of Tokyo, alone to study at a good high school. Unquote. Can I add it? Quote, I think people all over the world will certainly understand her feeling of insecurity in the same way. That's why such works tend to appeal to an international audience, which is true. Like stuff
Yeah,
like slice of life stuff, the slice of life stuff really does have a pretty wide appeal at times.
yeah. A good night spoon says, "I'm glad you know what that means because I don't." Metal says it a lot.
Well, isekai is a term that is used meaning when a character, it's a story about a character who basically, you know, somehow gets transported to another world, and usually it's usually a lot of times it's usually from the modern world to another world where it would seem like kind of sword and sorcery esque. You might have like fairies, knights, sorcerers, dragons, that kind of thing. I don't buy the idea Japanese, Chinese, Germans, and Europeans all think alike and have the same values.
Well, I don't think that guy was trying to say they all think alike or have the same values. I think he was saying they have certain things in common, like, you know, a
Yeah,
girl moving from the countryside to a big city and having some insecurities.
yeah. I'm officially not an X Man, by the way, if anyone was wondering. We figured as much. Anime may be a building block of some internationalization of culture, like Enchanted 2007. All right. So, anyways, getting back to the article here. Let's see. Um. All
In
right.
this
Yeah.
respect,
Yeah. Quote. In this respect, I really don't think that works need to be adapted for audiences outside Japan. Unquote. He concluded. Quote. Although I'm not sure how it is for people from other countries, where there are no rural areas or no cities. I have no idea what it's like in Dubai. Maybe I'm biased. And then in parentheses laughs and then unquote. Yeah, but I think there are certain experiences there that are shared. No matter
Yeah,
what
yeah,
country you're raised in, what country you're born in, or if you're what if you live in a city or a country or in the desert or the mountains. I think
yeah.
there are
Because,
still the whole idea of, let's say, moving from one place to another, for example, where the where the social climate is vastly different. That can
yeah,
apply to just about anything. That could apply as you know, as the point that he was drawing on was rural to urban, right?
yeah,
Country to city. But also, you can get that. If, let's say, somebody's living in the mountains, and they suddenly came down from the mountains and had to go through a desert, let's say, or you know, um,
yeah.
or, you know,
Or even in like competing in sports.
yeah,
Yes, there's going to be some maybe minor differences here and there based on culture and what you're taught in for competition and that, and
mm-hmm.
stuff like that. There might be some minor differences, but humans are humans no matter where you go. We all have
Right,
the basic same feelings, and we're the basic things are going to impact us in similar ways. Yes, you have a wide range of how we can be impacted, even in each culture. Some people, there would be no insecurity from going from that country life to a big
right.
city.
All right. So, anyways, I'm going to try to finish this up here. To this end, pressed later by Manga Passion if he thought, quote, global exchange was important for the medium of manga, Kanai told them that while he found it, quote, very important, unquote, in a creative sense for more and more people to create their own works within the medium, he did not believe such exchange should come at the cost of Japan's own identity.
And that I
And I
agree.
think there are a lot, and I think there are a number of fans over here, number of commentators that have made that same point, said
Yeah,
that same
and
thing.
they appreciate it for the mangas for what they are because you learn more about the culture that way instead of pushing
Right,
your own agenda on them.
exactly. So, anyways, as we finish up here, um, quote, the mindset that Japanese publishers will get poorer and poorer if they don't expand overseas is pathetic and should be abandoned, unquote, he affirmed. Quote, now that it is possible to read and draw manga abroad, I hope that the manga fan community itself will grow, no matter where they come from and no matter what region they belong to.
Religion,
So,
I think that is. Although
huh?
maybe it's supposed to be region. That says religion, not region.
Hmm.
No matter what religion they belong to,
No matter what.
isn't it?
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. No matter what religion they belong to. Okay.
But it could
Um.
be. He could mean region too. It's
Yeah.
hard to say.
Yeah. So when it comes to the question of whether I think globalization is important, I can say that it's not much more fun
It is
this
much.
way,
I can
or
say that.
but it's
That
much more fun this way, unquote. And
that's it.
that's the end of that article.
Which I
Uh,
think is good timing because you can do the wrestling wrap up. We're 15 minutes too, and then of course you do this day in each history.
yeah, I can hopefully get everything done inside an hour here. So, anyways, yeah. So, I think today is Wednesday. So, now on the WWE stuff, it's been noted. There's been some talk of some more crowd. So lately, of course, it's looked like as Triple H has taken over creative. In the time that he's taking over creative, he's now looking at the idea of working with smaller promotions where Vince McMahon never was a proponent of that. Of course, we've been talking a lot about the kind of the crossover between TNA and WWE, but also, now there's talk that they might be considering doing a crossover with Pro Wrestling Noah as well, which they did with Shinsuke Nakamura earlier in the year, to allow him to go wrestle Great Muta during the Muta's retirement.
No problem.
What's going on with your lighting there?
Oh, my cousin, where there's the lights for the two different rooms, she hit the one switch instead of the other.
Oh, okay. All right. So, with that, and of course, there's even still more talk with more potential crossovers coming up between TNA and NXT. As one of the rumors that's been thrown out there is, I guess, on next Tuesday's NXT, it's possible that there's a 25-man battle royal, I believe, to determine who the next contender for Trick Williams' NXT title is going to be. And there has been some talk that there might be some TNA talent, one of them being Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy making his potential return to the WWE, under the guise of being part of TNA and part of that crossover. Matt Hardy's even kind of stated online that after he, quote unquote, procures the TNA world title on Friday's Against All Odds pay-per-view on Friday, he might go into the 25-man gauntlet and basically dump out, or battle royal or whatever, and dump out 24 other obnoxious pokeheads or whatever to become the number one contender for the NXT title. So now also going on tonight, AEW of course has its Dynamite event going on tonight, and we're moving right along to that. On tonight, and of course I'll probably go over the results tomorrow. But from the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa, AEW have the third of four qualifying matches for the Forbidden Door ladder match that will be for the AEW TNT title, as Dustin Rhodes will challenge Jack Perry to see who advances to that ladder match. Rush will be taking on Dion Rushman. Roderick Strong teams with the Don Callis family members, Konosuke Takeshita, who's already advanced in the tournament advanced the ladder match at Forbidden Door, and Ring of Honor World Television title Kyle Fletcher to take on the threesome of Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Kyle Riley. Hook and Samoa Joe team up together with Katsuyori Shibata in their corner, take on the Premier Athletes duo of Arya Davari and Tony Nese with Mark Sterling in their corner. Mercedes Moné defends the TBS title against CMLL star Zoxis, who is the tag team partner of her upcoming opponent at Forbidden Door, Stephanie Vacour, in a title versus title match for both the TBS title and the New Japan Strong Openweight title, Strong Women's. Nick Camarado takes on Daniel Garcia, and in the main event, we'll see Will Ospreay defending the international title against Rey Fenix. So that's all what's going on tonight's episode of Dynamite. It was also recently reported that Dax Harwood of FTR recently suffered a kind of a bad back injury that may keep him out for a while. But with that, we have one more piece of wrestling news before we head out here, of course. As on last night's Power on the CW.com, last night's episode of NWA Power, saw more advancements in the advancements to the Crockett Cup Tag Team Tournament going on. Show opened up with the play-in final of Mike Orlando and Cheese defeating the Spectaculars to get the number 16 seed in the Crockett Cup tournament. And then the completion of the first round happened as in the one match in the 8-9 matchup, Judas and Max Impaler defeated the Fixers to advance to the quarterfinals, I believe. And then in the other match to advance to the quarterfinals, NWA World Tag Team Champions Blunt Force Trauma defeated Mike Orlando and Cheese to advance to the quarterfinals of the Crockett Cup tournament, which have technically already taken place, but will be shown later on CW on the CW. So let's see, wrestling, yeah, wrestling. So with that now, now the wrestling wrap up's all done here. So we're gonna go ahead and with today being Wednesday, June 12th, 2024, we're gonna take a look back at this day in niche wrestling, or I'm sorry, niche history.
Good Night Squint says he has a wrestling related question. Well, ask as we start to do the niche history.
All right. Well, go ahead and ask your question. We'll see if we can answer it.
Did you watch? No. I'd like to know how that's a.
Did you watch? No, I haven't. I haven't watched. I have no interest in watching Acolyte. Okay,
I haven't even watched the first 2 episodes. I might watch it. But how is that a wrestling related question? Is it wrestling in the fact that you're wrestling whether to watch it or not?
Anyways, so today, as I said, was I was wrestling with the idea of continuing to watch the series. Yeah.
Just
Yeah. All right. So with that, today is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. So let's take a look back at this day in niche history. So first off, Oh, I didn't even know that. I'd have to go check that out, I guess. But I wasn't even aware that I had that up there. But, well, here's yeah. I don't know. All right. But now we cleared that out. How did I ever guess that? I couldn't tell you there, Rick. But anyways, let's get back to another thing here. I didn't even. But anyways, so first off, of course, I'd like to wish a happy 50th birthday. I wish a happy 50th birthday here to American screenwriter, producer, and director Jared Bush, who's worked at Walt Disney Animation Studios. He's the creator of Penn Zero, Part-Time Hero. So happy 50th birthday to Jared Bush.
Happy birthday. Well, my birthday's not for another week, and I'm going to be 51, not 50. I was 50 last June.
No, I'm talking about Jared Bush, not you. Quick, Rick, what am I thinking?
You're thinking about me thinking about what you're thinking.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the next piece in niche history here. Moving on to 2004 here on this day, which is 20 years ago today. On this day in 2004, Gonzo's Samurai 7 premiered on Japanese television on this date back in 2004. Samurai 7, of course, is an anime adaptation of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai series. with some cyberpunk thrown in there into the mix as well. I've seen it's actually a pretty good anime. So, but on this date, 20 years ago today, Gonzo Samurai 7 premiered on Japanese television on this date back in 2004, 20 years ago. So with that, moving on to the next piece in each history.
Goodness, who says that's not what I'm thinking. So I guess I'm not an X-Man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be an X-Man.
Yeah.
I like being a man.
So moving ahead to 2014, on this date, 10 years ago today, the WWE released a number of wrestlers on this date 10 years ago today. Evan Bourne, who of course is currently with AEW under his real name of Matt Sydal. JTG is on the independent scene right now. Kurt Hawkins is wrestling as Brian Myers in TNA. So there's another potential crossover to look forward to. Teddy Long, Yoshitatsu, Brodus Clay, who is everybody would know better as Tyrus. Current, of course, contributor to Fox News, as well as being a former, now retired professional wrestler. He's a former NWE, he's the most recent NWA World Champion before EC3. He was the one EC3 beat for the title. Camacho, Oksana, who's known as CJ Perry. Drew McIntyre, who is of course back in the WWE. He'll be facing off against Damian Priest for the WWE World Heavyweight title at Clash of the Castle this weekend. And Jinder Mahal, who came back to the WWE for a little bit, and then back in 2016, and then was just actually recently re-released by the WWE. So that all happened 10 years ago, though, all those releases.
Yeah. Good night, says I remember Camacho. And what were you thinking?
If I remember correctly, I think, and I guess I can take a quick peek at that, but I think Camacho, Tonga Loa. Oh, okay, Tonga Loa. Okay, so he's actually back in the WWE now, too, as part of the bloodline, because he had gone over to Japan. So he's, let's see, Tavita Fafita. Let me see if I remember correctly. I believe he's the son of Haku, aka Haku Meng. Let's see. Is a fourth generation professional wrestler. His father Haku was a professional wrestler. Yeah. So this is the son. So Camacho, who Tongaloa, he's the son of Haku. From the WWE. Also known as Meng in WCW. So, anyways.
A good night when you were thinking about, will I be able to transmit my thoughts to Rick? Although I don't think you're an X-Men either.
Yeah. So, anyways, and now moving ahead to 5 years ago, and before I do that, apparently, and I guess
Good night says, Mike, think fast. I pick one of the following.
If the voices in your head tell you to sign up for Amway, just check yourself into a hospital for you're truly lost. I'm not an X-Men, Rick. I hear voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me. They talk to me. They talk to me. Rey Mysterio or Undertaker? Well, what are you asking there? Which one do I like better? I would say
he just says Undertaker. Pick one.
Oh, Undertaker. Yeah. Anyways, getting back to our.
Well, I'm glad he's not an X-Man. It's good that he's stayed a man.
Yeah.
I'd have
just
to
in case you guys are wondering, that was the theme to that was the theme to one of Randy Orton's previous themes. No context given. The voices in my head tell me to watch Vinland Saga. Anyways, all right. So, getting back to the last piece of Nietzsche
History.
history. Yep. So, on this date, 5 years ago today, the 10th issue of House of Whispers from DC's Vertigo imprint went on sale on this date 5 years ago today. It sold for $3.99 with 32 pages. The title of the story was "But Some of Us Were Brave," written by Nalo Hopkinson and Dan Waters. Art done by Dominique Stanton and Nelson Blake III. Lettering done by Dion Bennett and colored by John Rauch. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Well, before we leave, as we wrap things up, I'm going to go ahead and give Rick a chance to. Okay.
Rick.
Now, Rick, do you remember today back in the day?
Are you talking about sketch therapies thing or somebody else's? I probably got the name wrong. Not sketch therapy. I forget who. Midnight Cherry. Are you talking Midnight Cherry's segments that he did? Midnight Smith. Well, he's coming back to answer that.
Rick, if you'd like to do an outro and share any links and all that, the shtick, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to share any links. Although in about 15 or 20 minutes, I should be having a new video going up. It's actually in the middle of uploading right now. It's the second part to me painting the Spider-Man thing. So if you guys want to check that out, Sketch Therapy, the Crazy Man from EVS streams. I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I thank everybody for being here. Just want to check one thing. Of course, we'll be back here tomorrow night with more Nietzsche news. Most likely, we'll be going over, and I'll just double check if we've got it up yet. I'm just going to double check here to see if he's got it up yet. And if he does, we'll probably be going over this tomorrow night, which is the Indie Comic Showcase from Bleeding Fool. Getting caught up on some new material coming out that people are trying to promote. Let me see if yes, they do have he did put up a new Indie Comic Showcase number 276, and apparently one of the books is called Woke Busters. That's going to be an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, with that, guys, we'll be back tomorrow night with more Nietzsche news. Of course, we'll be doing the Indie Comic Showcase tomorrow night. And then on Friday, of course, I'll be here maybe without a guest because I still haven't lined anybody up yet. But we'll be finishing up our coverage of February 1940, looking through Shadow Comics 1 and 2 from Street and Smith. We'll be focusing on the features of the Shadow, as well as Doc Savage and Street and Smith's version of Iron Monroe, not to be confused with DC's character. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.